webinar, Market Masterclass with Religare. In this webinar, we talk about markets performance during the week, what we are anticipating for the next week, how you should plan your strategy, what all stock sectors that you should be focusing on. Everything we're going to cover in next 20 minutes, followed by a quick feedback poll and the Q&A session. So you have this Q&A button in front of your screen. You can use that. You can just press that button, write your question. Once the session is over, anything related to the webinar, to the presentation, any particular sector that you would like to know more about, definitely we can discuss during the Q&A session. तो आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारे इस वीकली वेबिनार में मार्केट मास्टर क्लास विद रिलीगेयर। और इस वेबिनार में नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट में हम बात करेंगे मार्केट की परफॉर्मेंस की, ये हफ्ता कैसा रहा, नेक्स्ट वीक क्या एंटिसिपेटेड है, कौन से सेक्टर, कौन से स्टॉक, निफ्टी, बैंक निफ्टी, क्या फोकस होना चाहिए, कौन से लेवल्स इंपॉर्टेंट रहेंगे, ये सब कुछ कवर करेंगे। साथ ही साथ हम बात करेंगे स्टॉक्स की भी जो कि फोकस में होने चाहिए। तो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विद अ डिस्क्लेमर फर्स्ट दैट this webinar is educational webinar. It's not a trading or investment recommendation. So before making any decision based on the information shared, please check with the financial advisor. तो जो भी हम बात करने वाले देखिए वो एजुकेशनल पर्पस के लिए है कि किस तरीके से आप प्लान करें अपने नेक्स्ट वीक को। इसमें कोई ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है। जो भी आप प्लान करें वो अपने फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर के साथ बात करके ही प्लान करें। So this is the performance of this week, a very short week, holiday shortened week, 3 days session means we had trading sessions. Or it was definitely a very positive close, I would say, because 4.5% kind of a gain. That too after this recent choppiness that market experienced post tariffs. So across sector, we saw the buying interest were in realty, banking, financials, media, and energy. They were among the top gainers. No sector on the losing side. On the gaining side, if you'll see that 4 names from the banking and financial basket, one, apart from that is Adani Ports. So IndusInd Bank, Axis, Shriram Finance, ICICI Bank, all from the banking and financial space. Wipro was among the losing side, means post numbers. Today we saw a decline, in the IT major, and eventually it ended on a negative note. देखिए ये इस हफ्ते का लेखा जोखा कि क्या रहा इस पूरे हफ्ते में। छोटा हफ्ता था, हॉलिडे शॉर्टन था, और काफी बट मजबूत हफ्ता फाइनली ये बंद हुआ। 4.5% के गेन, और वो भी इस लास्ट वीक आप सबको याद होगा किस तरीके की वोलेटिलिटी देखी थी हमने। फ्लैट बंद हुए थे उस वॉलिटिलिटी में, और इस बार उसको पूरा नेगेट करते हुए मींस अभी हम बात करेंगे, जब निफ्टी की बात करेंगे तो वहां पे और डिटेल में बात करेंगे। बट काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग क्लोजिंग बेंचमार्क इंडाइसेस की। सेक्टोरल फ्रंट पे भी सारे सेक्टर्स आपको पॉजिटिव साइड पे, बट बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल्स ऑब्वियसली इनका अपर हैंड रहा। इन्होंने आउटराइटली आउट परफॉर्म किया, जो दिख भी रहा है हमारे निफ्टी 50 के टॉप 5 नाम में से 4 नाम बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल्स की तरफ से। नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट व्हाट शुड बी आवर स्ट्रेटजी नेक्स्ट वीक। सो दिस इज द डेली ग्राफ ऑफ निफ्टी, एंड if you remember, we were here or maybe here couple of weeks before, and we were discussing about possibilities, what all possibilities that we have on next directional move. We've discussed about 2 things. One, that market witnesses any dip towards this area and then reverses, form a reversal pattern, inverted head and shoulder. So those who follow technicals, they might understand. But for those who are not familiar with this pattern, basically, it might not go below this mark. That was the first scenario. The other scenario was that whether we're going to breach that mark, and then probably we can see a recovery. So the second scenario turned out to be a true. We breached that mark, and again we are at the previous swing high. So if you'll see from this February 5th, if I'm not wrong, was the day, till today, April 17th, this 2000 point kind of a range is something that Nifty has been hovering in. Means 21,700 and 23,800. 2000 point range in last 2 months. again we are at the upper band of this range. Now, what has changed during this week? Last week, means a week before, volatility index, with this decline, the India VIX, the volatility index, which shows fear in the market, surged almost vertically, roughly around 70% in a single day. And then it kept hovering around 2022 mark for the next 2-3 sessions. This week, it cooled off significantly. We are again at the 16 level. Nifty, we have reclaimed the major averages. Last time, we were around this area when we were discussing, and Nifty should defend this. It couldn't. Again, we have reclaimed the 100 days and 200 days of exponential moving average. Why this area is important? Why these averages are important? Because it shows the last 100 days. If it's 100 days of exponential moving average, the last 100 days of market movement, whether it is positive or negative, we average down that move. And for exponential moving average, we give more weightage to the latest data. So let's not get into that detail, but the importance is that it shows the medium term, a long term trend. Now, since we have again reclaimed, it's not necessary that this is going to be a clear cut support or a very bullish sign. But yes, the way we have reclaimed it means you can see this, this first day decline, then the gap, 2 days of consolidation, again a gap, then again a gap, and then marginal range bound move, and then this surge. So in a way, it seems like that participants were chasing their positions, or they were covering their shorts big time. Today being the weekly expiry also, that further fueled this recovery, which helped the index to inch toward the previous swing high. Now, again, for the next week is going to be very important for multiple aspects, because first we'll react because we are in the middle of the earnings season, though global markets are also closed tomorrow on Good Friday, and mostly global markets are close. So we'll see the reaction on global clues also, and the key earnings, Infosys, HDFC Bank, and ICICI Bank on Monday. So while the numbers are scheduled, so we'll have decent time to digest, to calculate, and then react to the numbers in the early trade on Monday for these three heavyweights. So it's going to be important how the numbers plays out, and then we'll see the market inching accordingly. So as of now, the way we have reclaimed the major averages, the way we have closed on Friday, possibility of index inching towards this previous swing high, next swing high around 24,200, then this range close to around 24,600, 650 area seems high, right? And this, again, the long-term averages will be the first area of defense, and then the 20 EMA. So this 23,300 to 23,000 will be the support zone. So as of now, one should continue with buy on dips until we break this zone, 2300. Otherwise, also it's likely to be in a range. But yeah, the momentum that we are currently seeing is likely to fade away once we break this mark. Upside, 24,250 to 24,600. That's the potential target for the index in the coming week, right? Now let's talk about the key focus sector or the key contributor, banking index. So, in this entire corrective phase, sorry, I missed the Hindi part for Nifty. So basically, देखिए last 2 हफ्ते मार्केट के लिए काफी वोलेटाइल रहे, बट हमारी मार्केट में काफी रिवॉर्डिंग भी रहे. मींस जिस तरीके से रिकवरी आई, अगर आप 2 महीनों में देखेंगे तो वैसे कुछ गेन नहीं किया है, बिकॉज 5 फरवरी के टाइम पे हम करीब 23,800 पे थे, अब अभी भी हम उन्हीं लेवल्स पे हैं. बट इतनी वोलेटिलिटी के बाद दोबारा से उन्हीं लेवल्स के पास आ जाना डेफिनेटली ये पॉजिटिव साइन है, कंसिडरिंग कि ग्लोबल सिनेरियो अभी तक कुछ खास बदला नहीं है। टैरिफ डिफर हुए हैं, उसका एक पॉजिटिविटी जरूर है, बट ज्यादातर आपके डोमेस्टिक जो पॉजिटिव्स हैं उसका कहीं ना कहीं रिएक्शन दिख रहा है मार्केट में। इंपॉर्टेंट क्या हुआ है इस हफ्ते? इस इंपॉर्टेंट ये हुआ है दोबारा से हमने लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेजेस को रिक्लेम कर लिया है। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है हमारे लिए कि आप मेजर एवरेजेस के ऊपर हैं या नीचे हैं। नीचे है तो मीन स्टोन नेगेटिव साइड का होगा, वहां पे आपको गिरावट देखने को मिलेगी। ऊपर है तो चांसेस रहेंगे कि मार्केट एक्सटेंड करे रिकवरी। राइट, तो उस हिसाब से 24,250 24,600 तक के लेवल्स एंटिसिपेटेड हैं कि नेक्स्ट वीक में आपको देखने को मिल सकते हैं। 23,300 ये जो जोन है एवरेजेस वाला, ये पहला सपोर्ट होगा। उसके बाद ये येलो लाइन करीब 23,000। तो यहाँ पे बाय ऑन डिप्स का ही सेंटिमेंट बन रहा है। मंडे के दिन तीन बड़े नामों के रिजल्ट्स पे रिएक्शन होगा, इन्फोसिस, एचडीएफसी बैंक और आईसीआईसीआई बैंक। तो वो काफी हद तक डिक्टेट करेगा कि किस तरीके से हम इनिशियल सेशन में देखेंगे। बट अभी के हिसाब से सिनेरियो पॉजिटिव लग रहा है। चाहे वो आप विक्स की मूवमेंट को देखें जो कि काफी ज्यादा बढ़ गई थी, वो करेक्ट हो गई है। ऑफ लेट एफआईज के भी तरफ से पॉजिटिव फिगर्स आने लगे हैं कैश मार्केट में। और जिस तरीके से मार्केट में आज मूवमेंट हुई है, शॉर्ट कवरिंग भी दिख रही है। तो ये सारे फैक्टर्स बेसिकली इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं कि पॉजिटिविटी बन सकती है 24,600 तक के लेवल्स के लिए आने वाले टाइम में। राइट, नाउ कम्स द बैंकिंग, द मेजर contributor or the highlight of this recovery. So banking index, we have almost reached to the record highs. So can you see this level? Right, we are almost there, roughly around 200 230 points away from that area. 54 450 60 something was the high, and we are almost there now. If you see and go back and see that ICICI Bank was almost trading in a similar structure couple of weeks ago, and then we had this breakout wherein both SDFC and ICICI now are the record highs. So I believe that new high is just a formality, because just 200 250 points is not a big deal for banking index. More importantly, are we going to sustain this level or not is something that we have to see. The way we have reclaimed, the way we have shown outperformance in this entire market correction shows that yes, the potential is high, that we are likely to continue this positive tone in the banking index, with 55,000, 57,000 being the positional target in coming week. Downside 53,400, somewhere close to this area. If you'll see on the daily chart, you'll get the more clarity. But 53,400 to 51,900 would be the zone where we have multiple supports. Right. So here, obviously, after the initial reaction, we have to see where we open. But positively, yes, indications are in the favor that this momentum is likely to sustain, and 55,000, 57,000 is something that the banking index has potential to test in the coming week. देखिए, ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्टर रहा। अगर मैं कहूँ कि पूरी मार्केट में जो करेक्शन में जब आईटी ने भी साथ छोड़ दिया, जब आईटी में गिरावट शुरू हो गई, कहाँ 45,000 के पास आईटी इंडेक्स होता था, आज 30,000 के पास आईटी इंडेक्स है। उस सब के बीच में अगर किसी ने मार्केट को स्टेबलाइज रखा तो वो बैंकिंग रहा। बैंकिंग और फाइनेंशियल का पैक जो एनबीएफसी स्टॉक्स होते हैं, ये अपने आप रिकॉर्ड हाइस के पास आ गया है। ये बस फॉर्मेलिटी रह गया, रिकॉर्ड हाई करीब 200-250 पॉइंट दूर है। तो जिस तरीके से इस वीक क्लोज हुआ है, मंडे के दिन आप एचडीएफसी और आईसीआईसीआई बैंक के नंबर्स पे रिएक्ट करेंगे। पॉसिबिलिटी ये है कि ये मोमेंटम कैरी होने का इंडिकेशन ज्यादा है, जहां भी 55,000 57,000 तक के लेवल्स आने वाले टाइम पे देखने को मिल सकते हैं। वहीं पे नीचे पे 53,400 51,900 का जोन है, वो सपोर्ट एरिया की तरह एक्ट करेगा। तो यहाँ पे अभी भी स्ट्रेंथ ज्यादा है, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है। थोड़ा बहुत बीच बीच में कंसोलिडेशन देखने को मिल सकता है, बट उस केस में दूसरे जो रेट सेंसिटिव मींस जो इंटरेस्ट रेट जिन सेक्टर्स को इम्पैक्ट करता है उन सेक्टर्स की तरफ से आपको मूवमेंट देखने को मिलेगी, या विद इन द सेक्टर अगर मैं बात करूं, PSU banks which were sitting on the sidelines, we can see recovery in PSU banks. All the private banking majors which were not participating it earlier, we might see some catch-up move in those names also. Then we have auto counters, realty stocks, all are likely to participate in the coming weeks. Right? So tone positive, तेजी के साइड पे ही positioning रखनी चाहिए बैंकिंग में भी. Now comes these stocks. First name from the auto basket. So here also we feel that stocks which are outperforming within this sector is something that you should focus on. So top names, iShares, TVS, M&M. Then comes Ashok Leyland, which was trading in a declining channel, and we are almost on the verge of breakout. We have almost done that now. So it seems like that gradually we are going to build on this, and the stock can inch toward the previous swing high or maybe higher. So at least it's a sign of reversal in Ashok Leyland. So this is one stock that one can keep on radar for the next week. तो देखिए, जैसे हमने बात की कि अगर इतनी तेजी जो हमने देखी है बैंकिंग में, ऑब्वियसली वो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो रुक सकती है या रुक जाएगी या ऐसा कुछ है, बट अगर रुकती है तो दूसरे जो रेट सेंसिटिव्स हैं, जो कि जिन सेक्टर्स को इंटरेस्ट रेट से फर्क पड़ता है, जैसे कि ऑटो, रियल्टी, इन सब में भी आपको कैचअप मूव देखने को मिलेगा. तो जिसमें से कि कुछ एक नाम तो पहले ही अच्छा कर रहे थे, अब यहाँ पे अशोक लेलैंड जो कि एक चैनल में ट्रेड कर रहा था, वहां पे एक फ्रेश ब्रेकआउट की इंडिकेशंस हैं, तो इसको आप फोकस में रख सकते हैं फॉर द नेक्स्ट वीक लॉन्ग साइड के लिए. नेक्स्ट ऑन द लिस्ट इज BHEL फ्रॉम द PSU basket. So if you remember that last week we discussed about Hudco, almost a similar chart. You can go back and just check our previous video on YouTube channel or the other places on Religare online. So after this, trend line breakout, a base formation, and then reclaiming of the major averages, it was almost identical to what we are seeing in BHEL. राइट. तो लास्ट वीक जैसे हमने हुडको में बात की थी कि एक डिक्लाइनिंग ट्रेंड चल रहा है ये डेली चार्ट पे, और उसके बाद उसका ट्रेंड लाइन का ब्रेकआउट, फिर एक पॉज, कंसोलिडेशन, और फिर अपने मेजर एवरेजेस को रिक्लेम कर लेना. सेम हुडको में बात की थी. इस वीक काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग परफॉर्मेंस देखने को मिली हुडको में. पॉसिबली इस तरीके का सिनेरियो अनफोल्ड हो सकता है BHEL में भी, तो यहाँ पे भी आप लॉन्ग पोजीशंस के लिए देख सकते हैं. लास्टली ऑन द लिस्ट वी हैव गेल. So from the energy basket, after this phenomenal surge, like from 75 to 230 levels, the stock retraced to its midterm averages, formed a base in the last 1.5 month, witnessed strong recovery followed by a pause. So that has resulted in a fresh pivot formation. So initial buying level was this, and then this pivot is offering a next buying opportunity for the next leg of this recovery in gain. Right. So देखिए, एक काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग मूवमेंट के बाद एक रिट्रेसमेंट जो कि अपने मीडियम एवरेजेस के पास आना, वहां पे कंसोलिडेट करके एक रिकवरी, फिर एक पॉज. तो ये जो पॉज है, इससे क्या होता है, हमारा रिस्क रिवॉर्ड अच्छा होता है. मींस कि आपको स्टॉप लॉस मेंटेन करना है, तो यहाँ पे अगर आप बाय कर रहे हैं तो स्टॉप लॉस आपका नीचे बनेगा, ऑलमोस्ट स्विंग लो. बट यहाँ पे अगर कुछ टाइम स्पेंड कर दिया तो अब इस कैंडल्स के नीचे का ही एरिया आपका स्टॉप लॉस बन सकता है. तो एक पिवट फॉर्म हो गया फॉर फ्रेश एंट्री. सो दोज हु मिस्ड द अपॉर्चुनिटी इन गेल अर्लियर, दे कैन कंसीडर दिस टाइम. राइट. सो नेट निफ्टी बैंकिंग इंडेक्स टोन पॉजिटिव. For Nifty, 23,300 is something that you should keep in mind. For banking index, 53,400, 51,900. That's the multiple supports that we have. But of course, we will see the reaction on HDFC and ICICI numbers in early trade on Monday. So as of now, we are focusing more on the upside, means 55,000, 57,000. तो वो आपको देखना है. अशोक लेलैंड, BHEL and GAIL are some of these stocks which looks strong to us. ठीक है, तो आपको इस तरीके से प्लान करना है कि टोन पॉजिटिव का ही लेके चलना है. रेट सेंसिटिव्स जो हमने बात की, बैंकिंग फाइनेंस के अलावा भी, चाहे वो ऑटो हो, रियल्टी हो, उनमें भी रिकवरी देखने को मिल सकती है अपने को. और उसके अलावा हमने कुछ एक स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक बात की PSU बास्केट्स में, चाहे वो BHEL का हो, गेल का हो, इन सबको भी देख सकते हैं, राइट. So this is all from the presentation parts. Let's do a quick feedback poll now. So please fill in your feedback and then you can start posting your question using that Q&A button in front of your screen. So कोई भी सवाल है आपका related to the presentation, आप पूछ सकते हैं after filling your feedback. और कोशिश करिएगा कि जो भी स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज ना हो के सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक हो, so that it benefits all. Those who are done with the query feedback, sorry, they can post their questions now. All right, so we are almost done with feedback. Okay, let's start with Q&A now. So Ayush has the question on IT stocks. So IT as a basket, we feel that short-term downside seems capped. Means we might not see any major slide in IT counters. Reason that the kind of underperformance the sector has already experienced. It seems like that this negative price have already, discounted the possible negatives, be it in results and otherwise. So at least in the near future, until we see any major negative surprise, let's say from the management, they share something negative about any particular company on on the order front or any other challenges that they are facing. I doubt that we are going to see any major cuts in the IT counters from the current levels. But does that mean that we should go ahead and buy? So that is not the right approach. Why? Because probably they might continue to underperform. Means while the banking is going to go up, we are trading at the record highs. Let's say they move higher by 3%, 4%, they might end flat to marginally positive. So here that is more important where you should put your money, especially if the view is short term. So for a short term, definitely one should wait. Let's not be aggressive. Means since we are seeing a price cut in IT, so start accumulating. If your view is long term, 1-2 years, that's a different scenario. Less than that, you might be disappointed with the results. Okay, next again a stock specific question. So okay, Abhay has feedback. So thank you, Abhay, for the feedback that you like the presentation. Thank you. Okay. Okay, you have a follow-up question also that should we take profits in banking sector 20%? So yeah, there's no harm. Means again, like what we are discussing about IT, which have discounted all the negatives. In a way, for short term at least, we have discounted major positives for the banking space also. So if you see that, a few select heavyweights are pushing the markets higher, the banking index. So there's no harm. Like if you are, let's say, you planned a trade for 10% or 15% kind of a return, or let's say you bought ETF or through any other medium, 20%, 30% booking at current levels definitely helps you to form a base in case if markets again witnesses any kind of surprise from the global front or from the earning front. So yeah, it's a good strategy that you can at least book if the view is short term. Okay, next we have the name is missing on housing finance stocks. So housing finance, last week we discussed about Hudco. Then we have off late seen decent traction in PNB housing. We are seeing a similar traction in LIC housing finance also. So yes, apart from the other, NBFC players, we are seeing that the housing finance space is also buzzing. The quantum is less in comparison to what we are seeing in the other spaces, but tone is positive. So as of now, what it seems like that anything which is related to the banking and financial basket, they are seeing traction. So, but yes, it's important to choose between the right set of stocks and keep out trailing your stop losses also, because in certain cases we are just seeing a catch-up move. Means they are not the leader of the rally. There's a difference, right? One stock which outperforms the entire sector, it starts moving first and then continues that move. Then comes the followers. They start building their moves after the leader takes a pause. So sticking with the leader is something that you should focusing on. Okay, so right. So there's a query, of course, there could be question in other participants' mind also regarding the recent development on Gensol Engineering. So though it's not a part of presentation, but this company of late received notice from SEBI, and there's inquiry going on about the wrongdoings from the promoters and all. So the moment you hear such kind of story, instead of looking for a silver lining that there could be a turnaround or something like that, it's prudent that you should save your hard-earned money and switch or exit those names and focus on established business, especially if you're starting into investing or trading, right? So instead of getting in the detail regarding this, obviously you can find all the details on Google, but the way one should see this scenario is that how you should avoid making certain mistakes. Of course, if you go and it's not that easy. It's very easy to say that you should avoid such counters, but how to identify those red flags, it's a different story altogether. So until you understand the business in depth, the at least the management, how they operate and their qualification and other things, especially if you're investing, then you should refrain from those stocks. Okay. Next, we have on NBFC sectors like Amay, what we were discussing about banking and financials as a pack. So across the board, we are seeing buoyancy in the other related counters also, be it housing finance or this stocks which finance the vehicle financing and all, and then we have gold financiers. The entire space is holding strong now. I believe that after this phase, market will reward companies which will post strong numbers, and uh, there could be decent retracement if they fail to uh, come in line with the market expectation, right? So in this sector now, you should be focusing on earnings more, like what we've shared earlier also. All right. Next question: how we should approach broader indices, mid cap and small cap? So it's not that the broader indices are not participating. Today was one such day wherein the index moved roughly around 2%, but mid cap and small cap was almost marginally higher, means flat to 0.5% kind of a gains. Here, it's more important that you should focus on earning announcement, especially if you are uh, planning to utilize this correction for accumulation or slightly longer period of investment. For very short term, of course, you can go ahead and trade as per the levels, means you should have stop losses in place, but they tends to remain volatile. So it's a natural scenario for mid cap and small cap. As of now, uh, the outperformance in uh, large cap is clearly visible. So if somebody is risk averse, then one should be focusing more on large cap because they are easy to hedge also in case the market reverses the tone. And if somebody is okay taking risk, let's say 5-6% kind of an intraday move is okay, and they can maintain strict stop losses, they can selectively pick from mid cap and small cap space as well. All right, last we have any sector to avoid. So IT is likely to underperform selectively. I believe that metal and pharma. Here also we might see some underperformance. So these are the three key sectors wherein it's going to be difficult to identify. It's not that pharma outrightly is bearish. We were seeing certain stocks from the pharma basket also buzzing in today's session. So it's important to identify the underperformers, be it the best sector also. But yeah, these three sectors, IT, pharma, and metals, is something that one should refrain aggressive longs, at least for a time being now. Right. So with this, we have answered all the queries. So thank you everyone for joining in. And next week is the final week. 24th. So we'll have a rollover webinar, not this regular webinar. So whatever FNO positions that we have for this month, whether the participants are rolling those position, they have rolled the position, or whether they've exited this position, all details are we are going to cover in that webinar. So please do join in. And for this update on markets, this technical update with charts and all, we share a video in Hindi on our social channels. So you can in fact check for the live feeds on Saturday, and you'll get the video there as well. So thank you everyone for joining in, and we can conclude the session.